What happens when a man of unparalleled ambition clashes with the depths of his own dark soul? Was Alexander the Great a hero or a villain? Did he plot to end his own father? Why did he send his closest ally to the afterlife? We will dive deep into the enigmatic persona of history's most celebrated conqueror, exploring the shadows that lurk behind his legendary conquests. Across the ages, few names have resonated with such power and mystique as Alexander the Great. He is a figure shrouded in legend. His conquests were the stuff of epic poems. But the tale of Alexander is not just one of glorious victories and unparalleled expansion. Behind the gleaming armor of the conqueror lay a complex and often troubled soul. The thirst for power can be intoxicating, and Alexander, even in his youth, drank deep from its well. Born in 356 BCE, Alexander was the son of King Philip II of Macedon and Olympias, a princess of Epirus. The relationship between Alexander and his father was fraught with tension and complexity. Despite Philip's role in laying the groundwork for Alexander's future conquests, their bond was marked by rivalry and discord. From a young age, Alexander was deeply influenced by his mother, who harbored a fierce animosity towards Philip. This tension between his parents undoubtedly shaped Alexander's perception of his father. Philip's numerous marriages and political alliances often sidelined Olympias, leading to a fractured family dynamic. Despite these conflicts, Philip recognized Alexander's potential, providing him with an unparalleled education. His education under Aristotle fostered a love for philosophy and science, but it also instilled a belief in his own divinity and destiny. This sense of invincibility would later manifest in brutal ways. The relationship between Alexander and his mother, Olympias, was intense and complex, marred by manipulation, ambition, and dark intrigue. Olympias's influence on Alexander was profound from his early years. She instilled in him a belief in his divine ancestry, claiming that he was the son of Zeus. This belief in his divine mission played a crucial role in Alexander's relentless pursuit of conquest. However, her intense ambition also had a darker side. Olympias was deeply involved in the political machinations of the Macedonian court, often using ruthless tactics to secure her son's position. A particularly dark aspect of their relationship was Olympia's suspected involvement in the assassination of Philip II, Alexander's father, in 336 BCE. While direct evidence is lacking, many historians believe she played a role in orchestrating Philip's murder to ensure Alexander's ascension to the throne. This act of regicide, if true, highlights the extreme measures Olympias was willing to take to advance her son's interests. Olympias continued to exert control over Alexander even after he became king, often meddling in political affairs and using her influence to eliminate rivals. Her manipulative nature and relentless pursuit of power left a lasting impact on Alexander, contributing to his own ruthless and paranoid tendencies. After the assassination of his father, Alexander inherited a powerful kingdom and a well-trained army. Upon ascending the throne, he swiftly consolidated his power. He executed potential rivals and quelled rebellions with an iron fist. One of his first acts as king was the destruction of Thebes in 335 BCE. The city had revolted against his rule, and Alexander's response was devastating. He razed Thebes to the ground, killing thousands and selling survivors into slavery. This ruthless suppression served as a grim warning to other Greek states. As Alexander embarked on his campaigns against the Persian Empire, his military prowess was matched by a growing penchant for cruelty. His siege of Tyre in 332 BCE is a notable example. The city resisted for 7 months, and when it finally fell, Alexander ordered the crucifixion of 2,000 survivors. His treatment of the city's inhabitants, enslaving women and children and executing soldiers, underscored a ruthless approach to warfare that prioritized fear over mercy. After defeating Darius III at the Battle of Gaugamela in 331 BCE, he pursued the fleeing Persian king relentlessly. Darius was eventually betrayed and killed by his own men, but Alexander's reaction was paradoxically vengeful and ruthless. He had Bessus, the satrap who had betrayed Darius, mutilated and then executed in a grotesque display of power. In 330 BCE, Alexander ordered the burning of the Persian capital, Persepolis, supposedly in revenge for the Persian invasion of Greece a century earlier. This act of cultural destruction is seen as a senseless act of revenge and a demonstration of his power. The siege of the city of Massaga was marked by extraordinary bloodshed. After a hard-fought battle, the the city surrendered, only for Alexander to massacre its defenders and civilians alike. His march through India continued to be brutal, with entire cities being destroyed and their inhabitants slaughtered or enslaved. As Alexander's empire expanded, so too did the darker aspects of his character. The once bright idealism of his youth became increasingly clouded by paranoia and ruthlessness. He grew suspicious of those closest to him, seeing potential rivals in every shadow. The once invincible conqueror was becoming a tyrant. He demanded to be treated as a living god. Drunken rages and bouts of extreme violence became more frequent. After one such argument, he ended another close friend and a commander who had saved his life in battle. During a drunken banquet, Cleitus criticized Alexander's adoption of Persian customs, leading to a violent altercation in which Alexander killed Cleitus with a spear. This act not only revealed his volatile temper, but also his inability to tolerate dissent. Alexander's paranoia extended to his own officers and companions. Philotas, one of Alexander's trusted generals, was accused of conspiring against him. Under torture, Philotas confessed and was executed, along with his father, Parmenion, another high-ranking officer. The elimination of Philotas and Parmenion highlighted Alexander's willingness to eliminate even those who had been loyal to him, if he perceived them as threats. Alexander's later years were marked by increasing despotism. He began to demand deification and adopted Persian royal customs, which alienated many of his Macedonian followers. The cutting of the Gordian knot is often seen as a symbolic act of problem-solving. However, it also demonstrated Alexander's belief in his own divine destiny and his disregard for traditional methods or respect for cultural symbols. This action was a harbinger of his later autocratic behavior. Alexander manipulated religious oracles to serve his own purposes. At Siwa Oasis, he was proclaimed a son of Zeus Ammon, a declaration that he used to solidify his divine status and justify his rule, exploiting religious belief for political gain. Alexander's policy of marrying his officers to local women, known as the Susa weddings, was intended to merge Macedonian and Persian cultures. However, this often involved forced marriages and the imposition of Greek culture on the local population, causing resentment and cultural suppression. His insistence on proskynesis, a Persian act of bowing or prostrating oneself before the king, was particularly contentious. Macedonians, who saw themselves as free men, balked at this practice, which they viewed as subservient. His paranoia and authoritarianism culminated in the execution of Callisthenes, the court historian, in 327 BCE. Callisthenes had openly criticized Alexander's demand for proskynesis, and his subsequent arrest and death signaled a stark intolerance for any form of opposition. The death of his close companion Hephaestion in 324 BCE devastated Alexander. His response was extreme. He executed the physician who treated Hephaestion and declared a period of mourning across the empire, reflecting his intense personal attachment and subsequent irrational actions. One cannot help but wonder, was Alexander depressed? The marital relationships of Alexander were far from conventional, marked by political strategy, cultural assimilation, and personal ambition. Alexander's three known wives, Roxana, Statera, and Parysatis, each reveal aspects of his complex and often dark marital dynamics. As one of history's most successful military leaders, Alexander carried immense responsibilities from a young age. The constant pressure to maintain his conquests, manage his empire, and live up to the expectations placed upon him could have taken a toll on his mental well-being. Alexander's increasing paranoia and suspicion towards those around him, as evidenced by his actions towards perceived threats like Philotas and Callisthenes, suggest a level of anxiety and distrust that may have impacted his mental state. While there is no definitive evidence to diagnose Alexander the Great with depression, it is plausible that he experienced periods of emotional distress and psychological turmoil. However, any discussion of his mental state must be approached with caution, as historical interpretations can be a subject to speculation. Alexander the Great's legacy, though monumental, is marred by his propensity for violence, paranoia, and tyranny. The darker side of Alexander the Great serves as a sobering reminder of the complexities of power and the human cost of conquest. While his achievements in warfare and governance are undeniable, they came at a tremendous price, leaving a legacy that is as tragic as it is grand. If you found this video informative, don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button. Thank you for watching.